I'm Hannelore De Grande. I'm the coordinator of the Researcher Training and Development Office, and I will walk you through your PhD journey at the VUB. Let's start off with the enrollment procedure. Since you've already started with this e-learning, this means you have successfully completed this task. Well, job well done. But it's important to note that you have to do this every year. Before the start of the academic year, you will receive an email from the student administration with the question to re-enroll. And you just have to follow along the path of that email. Very simple, takes only a few minutes of your time. But don't forget to do it. And in order to receive that email, you need to have a positive advice on your progress report. I will come to that later on. Important to really keep that in mind, because no enrollment, not impossible to complete your PhD, not impossible to get to your defense. Of course, now you arrived at the university and you want to become that expert in your field. And we know that it can be quite overwhelming in the beginning to get started because you want to do several things at once. There's a lot to get to know within the research group. And of course, we really want you to be able to focus on this. You want to read into your subject area, experiment, get into the data or collect your data, analyze, present things on conferences, and then get feedback in order to write your first article and get published, celebrate those things. But we do have a number of important documents and tools that really can help you to progress in your research and to become better researchers. So that's what I want to highlight here. The first one is the research plan. The research plan is compulsory. Normally before the start of your research, so you had to hand it in during the enrollment procedure. But it's possible that you don't have it now, and that you'll only have to complete it by the first progress report. We do know that you come into this research adventure with a different backpack. You have different means when you start a PhD. There are some who have a personal mandate, such as FWO. Others have working on project funds from the supervisor, bring in money from their home institution, being self-funded or teaching assistants. We know that the pace can be different, but for everything I will mention here, including the research plan, these are all important tools for all of you. And don't worry if some of the milestones take you a bit longer than others. They're really there to help you. So for this research plan, to get most out of it is important to have that from the start. Why is that? Because it gives you a clear focus where you're heading towards. It's often very unconcrete. Of course, you want to get to that defense, but in order to get there, I mean, you need to cut it into smaller pieces. And it's important that you can check them to get on to the next task. Of course, there can be a level of detail that is different, but what it should, every plan should include at least a literature review, state-of-the-art of what is really your focus points, the methodology you will be using, and maybe it is an ethical committee that you will get approval of before you can start collecting your data. And it's also important to include in there the training you want to follow and discuss that with your supervisor. And of course, for most of the documents we will discuss, it's it's a collaboration together with your supervisor. You're not alone in this. So discuss with them. They will give you feedback along the way. And why is it important that you do it from the beginning? Because we know from the PhD survey that people with a research plan have a much higher chance of successfully submitting their PhD. So it really gives you guidance along the way, and we really want to give you that tool in hand. Of course, if you look back at the journey at the end, you will see that it will have changed over time, and that's perfectly fine. But it's something that can make the journey, easier to progress in. A second tool that is really important in the beginning is the expectation sheets. It's not compulsory, but we would definitely recommend you to make use of it. It's a template document discussing a lot of topics, questions on specific tasks, where you need to fill out who you think is responsible to complete or perform that task. You need to complete it and your supervisor as well, separately. And then you come together and discuss it. It's important that you fill it out not with the idea of, I think my supervisor would want to answer this in this way. Really answer it from your own needs. That's the only way it's going to work. And then, you can discuss. It's perfectly possible that you will not fill it out in the same way, but then you have the opportunity to discuss why you believe it's yours or his or her responsibility, and you build trust and clarity on how you could progress in your work relation. Ideally, I think don't start right off. It's not something to complete on your first day because you don't really know what's going to happen. Wait maybe a few months when you're more accustomed to what is happening within the research group, and then have that discussion with your supervisor. He or she will also have their own style, and that is perfectly okay, but they should also make room for differentiation between their PhD candidates according to your own needs, be it that you need more timely feedback or more moments where you can discuss. Also, don't only use meetings to discuss the content of your PhD, also make room to discuss things that might bother you along the way, make things concrete, discuss them openly, definitely if your supervisor is open to them. It's important to know that these documents are there to make your life easier along the way. I know I already said that, but it's really important to highlight this because often they are seen as, yet another administrative thing to do that has no worth. You really make good use of them, and they will make your life so much easier. Let's tell you something more about the compulsory doctoral training. There's a whole module on that in this e-learning, so I will not go into detail, but I want to pinpoint the aspects of our PhD introduction package. Why? Because most of our compulsory package you really can fill in according to your own needs and where you came from. Some benefit most to start off with content workshops, others want to start off with specific transferable skills, helping them to organize themselves. That's according to what you need. There's a whole lot of things that can earn you credits. Use the credit table and discuss it with your supervisor. This PhD introduction package is there for everybody. No exceptions. You really have to follow it, and it's composed of three aspects. It's this introduction package. This introduction e-learning. And important here to notice, of course you can follow through, but it's of course also a bit, unpersonal. It's good to know that there's also an onboarding day by our HR departments, P&O. They organize it 3 times a year. And it's an important moment where you can put a face in front of all the support that there is inside our university. And it's also a moment where you can meet up with fellow PhD candidates who just started. So if you haven't received an email on that, you can also mail rtdo@vb.be to get that invitation. Would definitely recommend. A second part of the introduction package is related to research data management. As a researcher, it's really important to know how to manage, store and share your data. Use this e-learning to get to know everything that there is need to know concerning RDM. And then afterwards you have contact information about our data stewards who will be happy to help you further if you have questions. A last part of this introduction package relates to ethics and scientific integrity. Again, starting off with an e-learning, Mind the Gap, which is an inter-university tool that has been elaborated upon. And next to that, you will also have to follow 2 sessions during the Ethics Week, which is organized in December each year. So if you have completed that, together with, of course, other aspects of your compulsory training program, this gives you important tools in hand, important skills in order to progress with your research. And everything that you have to complete for the compulsory doctoral training program, you will also have to add in your progress report. I already mentioned it at the beginning, that this is really an important milestone to take every year. You will have to look into the central PhD regulations in order to see what the deadline is in your faculty, but the latest deadline is the 14th of April that you have to hand it in. It's composed of 2 parts. One part that has to be filled in by you and the other part by your supervisor. It has to be transparent. Both have to sign at the end. What you have to do, while the research plan details about what the work to come is about, the progress report makes you look back on what you have done, what worked, what didn't work, what kind of things came into the way in order that you didn't make the progress you expected to be. And yeah, it's also a moment where you can discuss specific problems along the way. So this progress report, you need to discuss that with your advisory committee. And this is also a very important group of researchers that can help you to progress in your research. Your advisory commission, you need to have one by your first progress report. Normally it's composed by your supervisor and at least 2 extra researchers. They all need to have at least a PhD. And important here is that you choose for somebody, for example, within your research group that also has the right expertise, that is ideally combined with the expertise of your supervisor. And then you also have a member outside of the university, or at least outside of your own research group, that is complementary, that has expertise that is complementary to that of your supervisor. We feel that there's often quite a lot of stress in meeting up with this advisory committee. Of course, it is related to the fact that they, together with the supervisor, decide on your positive or negative advice for the re-enrollments. But really the first thing they are worried about, or they really want you to become better researchers. And they're in that advisory committee because they're really interested in the research topic that you have chosen. And they want to give you tips on how to progress. So really use this as an opportunity also to be open about things that you're struggling with. Don't try to make it of a show of everything that is going smoothly if it doesn't. It's really a moment to be open about it and to see if there are things that you can decide together on how to progress. Also, the advisory commission should not, you can involve them only once a year before the progress report needs to be handed in. But since there's important expertise there, it can also be perfectly possible that you want to invite one of them for a more intensive one-on-one discussion on a specific part of your PhD, so you can really progress further on that specific part. So really make use of them and discuss this with your supervisor if you need that. If it's somebody who has insights in specific methodology you already try to use and it's not working so far, make use of them. That's really an important tip I would give. So yeah, in the end, they give you a positive or negative advice. It can be a positive advice with additional comments that you need to take into account by the next progress report in the next academic year. Or it's also possible that they already want you to adapt certain parts of your progress so far based on their comments in the same year. So we have a first period where you can hand in your reports in April, and there's another one in August. So it's possible that you get a couple of months already to show that you have made some progress or that you thought things through. And then finally, this will be put forward to the Research Council, and they will approve it, and then you get that re-enrollment. Important also to note is, while the progress report is an objective, is a document based on objective measures on your progress, we also have the PhD survey, and the PhD survey includes more information on really the support on really the satisfaction with the support within the university, and also with the services you receive from us, for example. And so it's an important feedback mechanism we use in order to make our policies, make further changes in order to give you the best possible support. So we would definitely also advise you, if you receive an invitation for the next PhD survey, to certainly fill that out. And then the moment will come, although it might seem very far off, that you will be able to submit your PhD in order to get to that defense. Important to note here is that there are faculty specific roadmaps on how to best prepare for that step. So have a look at them, ask on the faculty secretariat if you really want, if you don't find it on the website, and go through with it. Your supervisor should compose the jury. Of course, you also have a say in that. Then the faculty will appoint a chair, and they will organize both the private and the public defense. Before you can actually submit, the faculty responsible within the secretariat will also check in Kali if you have completed the compulsory doctoral training program. So it's very important to regularly check your portfolio, that you have everything at hand. Of course, normally you have done this on a yearly basis for the progress reports, so you should definitely be fine, but don't forget it, because then otherwise your submission might be postponed, and this is of course not what we would want for you. Of course, it's a stressful period to get there. But my advice would also be to enjoy it, because it's a very large achievement, and you should definitely be proud of yourself that you can show the work that you have been doing for 4 years and present it to your friends and family. Good luck, and hope to see you on one of our next events.